Welcome back to the Ezekiel Code, and thank you very much for joining us on this exciting journey. First of all, I would like to introduce you to my co-author and business partner, Herman Schoonby.
Thanks, Nick, and welcome to this journey that we're going to take you on. But before I go any further, I think it's appropriate for us to introduce ourselves and tell you a little bit about where we're from and what we do, and basically how we met and all that. Years ago in the 1990s, I used to have a printing business, and Nicholas was one of my first customers, and over the years we became friends. After my divorce in 2000, I decided to sell everything and go on a 3-year traveling sabbatical, and I always had this dream to travel through America. I was always fascinated with the way that Americans do business, and while I was there traveling in my station wagon through 16 states in the Caribbean, I kept on researching and looking at how people in America do business, and I was fascinated with, those real entrepreneur innovators like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and even Henry Ford, and that spirit of innovation that we really need even more so today because the environment changes all the time. Anyway, I came back with a whole bunch of ideas in my head, and I reconnected with some friends, including Nick, and I was totally amazed. He just finished a book on the 7 secrets of Ezekiel, the principles of Shaka Zulu that he used to build his massive empire. I immediately read it, and I was totally blown away because it's so connected with what I was thinking and looking at companies that did this innovation in America. And we then decided to turn this into an innovation program. So tell me, Nicholas, how did you come up with this? Why Shaka?
Well, by trade, I'm a historian, and I did my PhD in Berlin on the Roman Emperor Nero. So I'm a bit of a neurologist. And interestingly, I discovered that Nero, now remember, the traditional image of Nero is all bad. Traditionally, he was seen to be a murderer, a despot, having played the fiddle while burning Rome. Now, I discovered that all of that was not true, that he did not put fire to Rome, that in fact he did try to abolish income tax.
And he didn't play the fiddle.
He did play the fiddle, but he stopped the gladiatorial games. He tried to stop the wars that Rome was engaged in. But at the same time, he ran into a massive conflict with the entrenched interests of the military and the aristocracy. Sound familiar? And that caused his downfall. Now, the historians came out of the aristocracy, and that's why they deliberately denigrated the legacy of Emperor Nero. Now, when I came to the University of KwaZulu-Natal in Durban as a lecturer in late '93, I was intrigued by the history of the Zulu king, Shaka. And I very quickly had a sense that what happened to Nero's legacy, the same happened to King Shaka's legacy.
As a matter of fact, sorry to interrupt there, I grew up in South Africa, and the history that we were taught is that Shaka was this cruel despot, and it was clearly not the case.
And unfortunately, even today, that is what we read in the history books about King Shaka, that he was a tyrant, a murderer, and basically depraved madman. Now, what I did is, when going into the archives and when actually speaking to people in Zululand, true Zulus who still recorded the oral tradition of King Shaka's life and times, I found that there was a legacy that is all about innovation. That is all about how a common soldier, that in fact was kicked out of the kraal, a common soldier built an empire larger than Europe, and totally reinvented the tools of trade, his weapon, totally reinvented the battlefield from frontal confrontation to the famous Horns of the Bull, the encirclement movement, and created a legacy that more than 50 years after his death literally defeated the strongest army of the world in the world, the British army at Isandlwana, and interestingly holds many lessons for what today has become the secret weapon of market leaders.
Yeah. Is that only organizations, or is it reinventing ourselves as well?
Well, you see, I started off writing. When I started researching about King Shaka, I was at the crossroads in my own life. I had been recently divorced. I had been recently retrenched. The company merged with another company. Management was told to go. And I was, for the first time in my life, serious out of shape. I mean, I was a best runner, 1 mile runner at school, and then all of a sudden enlarged my waist to size 36 and became totally unfit. And that's really when I took time out and tried to distill the formula for success. What does it take to be successful in life? And that's when I wrote the first book, The 7 Secrets of Ezekiel, which was all about how to conquer life and to build your personal empire.
So, Nicholas, so what does this strange word Ezekiel mean? And I believe also you pronounce it with a bit of a click.
Now, Ezekiel was the name of King Shaka's first regiment. It literally means the small people, because it was actually King Shaka's mentor, Dingiswayo, King Dingiswayo, who traveled the Eastern Cape and came across the Khoisan, the Bushmen, and was intrigued to find that the Bushmen don't farm the lands, they don't raise cattle, they purely rely on the one skill that has made them world famous, which is their hunting skill. And he was so intrigued by the ingenuity and the resourcefulness of the Khoisan that he decided to form a new experimental regiment of young warriors and to make King Shaka the leader. And it was actually in the Ezekiel regiment that King Shaka, long before he became king, tested and developed his new battle strategies and what today has become the secret weapon of market leaders.
Okay, that's good and well, Nicholas, but what is this secret weapon? Let's say, for instance, what is the secret that organizations like Apple and Red Bull use to become market leaders?
Well, we call it innovation, and the true legacy of King Shaka is all about how to discover your secret weapon that will set you apart and become the market leader in your industry by tapping into the single most important asset of any organization. And that is the idea power of your employees. Innovation. Now, innovation is all about assessing the shortcomings of your assegai, of your current weaponry, your current tools of trade, of the current way, and then take it to the battle and really reinvent the routes of engagement in your industry. Very much like Apple has done with the music industry. In fact, obviously in 4 different industries, from the computer industry to the music industry to telecoms and lately to the phone industry. And very much like Red Bull has done to come up with a new category, to invent a new category and capture up to 80% market share in almost 100 countries. And then also very much like Toyota has done, that generate every year 1 million ideas from employees from the battlefield about how to improve service, how to improve the products. And that's the reason why they have now become one of the 10 most profitable companies on this planet.
So, Nicholas, where did this whole journey for Shaka start?
Well, interestingly, in his first battle, when he was still a common soldier, Shaka picked up a skill that today has become mission critical for activating innovation in your company and actually to become the innovator and to find your secret weapon. In the next video, we will show you how Shaka, long before he became king, went about assessing the shortcomings of his existing weapon and how he developed this mission-critical skill that then set him onto the path of reinventing his weaponry and revolutionizing his industry in Southern Africa. Now, in the next video, we will give you a glimpse into the heart and core of the Ezekiel Code, into the program, and we will take you to the first battle in which Shaka, long before he became king, picked up the one mission-critical skill that is required for anyone who wants to become an innovator and who wants to discover your secret weapon and become the market leader in your industry. So please join us on the next video and we will show you what is the first step in activating innovation in your organization.